podcast, Real Talk for True Entrepreneurs. And today is just like every episode you have seen, but this may be the best one yet. We have with us Miss Lashun Pollard-Turner. She is the owner of A&R BBQ, located right here in Memphis, Tennessee, in the Hickory Hill area. And you want to know how she made it and how she's continuing her success. To help you, we have Real Talk for True Entrepreneurs right here on this show. Let's get started and welcome Shani Pollard-Turner.
Hi.
Hi, thank you so much for joining us. It is a blessing to have you on the show. So let me take a moment and tell our audience a little bit more about you.
Okay.
Miss Lashun Pollard-Turner is the eldest child of Andrew and Rose Pollard, who we all love. Born and raised right here in Memphis, Tennessee. She's a proud graduate of Hamilton High School. And if you know anything about Memphis, your high school is the most important thing ever. We don't want to know your name. We don't know who your family is. What high school did you go to? That is a fact from Memphis, Tennessee, in case you didn't know that. Miss Pollard-Turner's journey as a professional began at the age of 17, where her first job really ignited her passion for entrepreneurship. From 1986 to 2001, she worked as a professional hair designer and owner of Lashun's Professional Hair Design. And in 1999, she joined her family's business, A&R BBQ, working just part-time. But by 2001, her father gave her an incredible opportunity to open her own A&R location in the Hickory Hill area, where she's been building this foundation. So, Shani,
Yes.
you've had a wonderful entrepreneur journey, so this is going to be exciting for us. So tell us a fun fact about yourself.
A fun fact about me is I love to work.
Awesome. Wow.
I love to work. I love to visualize things, and I call myself a visionary.
Okay.
I like to think about things, create opportunities, and just launch out there and do them.
So in the restaurant industry, right now, after COVID, something happened.
Yeah.
What do you say is the biggest challenge that entrepreneurs face in the restaurant industry?
Well, funding for one, especially for small African-American businesses. Restaurants, it's hard for us to get funding, especially from banks.
Wow.
And major lending institutions. So during the times when business is slow and you need that extra boost, you know, it's hard to get funding. So we have to more or less get the kind of the what they call them, B, C, D loans or something like that in order to, you know,
survive.
and then the rates are high, so it makes it difficult for us.
But mentioning that, in your bio, I read that you have a food truck called the Barbecue Lady.
Yes.
Is that one of the ways that you found to supplement income when things are slow? You can go to events and do some extra things that you wouldn't never do if business was slow at your restaurant.
Yes, but the Barbecue Lady food truck is kind of something fun for me to do because the restaurant is doing well.
Good.
Praise God.
Yes.
And the Barbecue Lady, the food truck, was just something on the side that I wanted to do just to get out there and feel the waters to kind of do something a little different. And this guy, Mike Mason, years ago, used to call me the Barbecue Lady. So I said, I'm going to name my truck the Barbecue Lady. So
that's different and unique.
Yeah.
Definitely sounds good. Has a good ring to it, as they would say.
The Barbecue Lady bringing the fire.
Bringing the fire, a little spicy.
Yes, ma'am.
So everybody knows on the map, Memphis is known for barbecue and blues. It's just who we are.
Yes.
So I would imagine you've got some competition. So let's talk a little bit about how you differentiate A&R BBQ from the competitors here in the city.
Well, we basically have our old school barbecue joint style restaurants. So our food is completely different. We use the open flame barbecue pits like the pits that you used to have back in the day. You remember the barrels that we used to
that
have
were made
outside
to make
that were made for barbecue. Well, our barbecue pits that are on the inside of our buildings are made kind of, on that style, the steel metal open flame barbecue pits. So we more or less stick to that type of barbecuing as opposed to some of the commercial brands. They use the rotisserie pits and those electric and gas type pits, but we just keep it old school. So yeah,
which gives you more of a quality and flavor with your food. That makes
and that
sense.
flavor differentiates itself from the rest. So
what are some of your popular menu items?
Okay, I brought a few of our popular
let's
menu
see what we
items for
got
you to
here.
see, girl. Our the fan favorite are our rib tips.
Ooh.
People love the rib tips. Second after the rib tips is the pulled pork, which we have some pulled pork here, and the chopped chicken, the chicken breasts. And up here, I have some more rib tips, and our smoke wings are a fan favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Now, besides the barbecue spaghetti, the baked beans, and our sweet, tangy barbecue sauce.
So
and
is this barbecue sauce specially made? There's a secret recipe?
Yes, it is. My mom and dad came up with the barbecue sauce and the coleslaw recipe. So,
Can't even talk about it. Hey, you've just got to come
tell.
taste it. You just got to come taste it. Wow, awesome. So speaking of your mom and dad, the Pollards, I see your mom all the time. I love her so much. She's like, you always in the streets. I said, but you see me, so that means you are too.
Exactly.
I just love her. How did the legacy start with A&R BBQ?
Okay, A&R stands for Andrew and Rose. That's my mother and father, Andrew and Rose Pollard. In 1982, my dad went to work at John Morrell Meat Packing Company. He had been there for 19 years. They went to work that day, and the packing house was closed. They had no idea that it was going to close. So he came home and, told my mom and told us that he didn't have a job. So he prayed about it because my dad used to always cook barbecue in this barrel with this screen in the backyard, and our neighbors and everybody loved Daddy's barbecue. And he would say at times, I'm going to open a barbecue restaurant one day. So, hey, as fate had it, he had to do something to take care of his family. And he was coming down Elvis Presley, and he had been praying and asking God, what is it that I need to do to take care of my family? And as he was coming down the street in his little Toyota truck, he said it was like the steering wheel pulled up to the first location on Elvis Presley Boulevard.
Oh, my gosh.
So he went into that little place, and I think he borrowed $150 from, it was either my grandmother or my uncle, and bought his little supplies, and we went into the building and helped him tear down the wallpaper and paint and do all this stuff to get everything up and running. And hey, my mom worked at the Buck Mail Center across the street. So they would get orders for food, and we would bring the orders over there to them, and that kind of kept us going. And one day there was a food critic that came by from the Commercial Appeal. And he did a review on A&R, and, we didn't know anything about this man. He just came in there. We didn't know. The next day, the article was in the Commercial Appeal. The next day, Daddy pulled up to the restaurant, and it was just a line of people waiting to get in. So that catapulted us into where we are today. Yeah.
When we are dead and gone, and the Bible has new stories, that is going to be in there. You talk about work your faith, trust in God. Oh my goodness. When the Lord orders your steps and make way for you,
exactly.
that's it. It's easy, it's simple. He clears the path. He goes, as Reverend Ed Parker Jr. say, he goes in my not yet and make it to no longer.
Right.
That is
Exactly.
phenomenal.
Yes,
Oh
that's
my
the story of
gosh.
how it
Because
started.
A&R probably wouldn't even exist had he not lost a job.
Right.
Sometimes God has to just push us out and say, look, this is what you're doing.
That's the setup.
And then it was legacy building.
Yes.
And you were there from the beginning. So your heart was in it. You were passionate about it. You saw the growth and possession of it and how it grew.
And
That
see,
is
when
awesome.
initially I worked, my sister, my brother, and I worked up there. Some of my friends in the neighborhood, they came up and they would help us. And then I decided I wanted to do hair. So for 15 years, that's what I did. And I owned hair salons and did that. So I've always been
An entrepreneur.
yeah.
So how did you go from barbecue and supporting your dad to doing hair?
Well, I wanted to do something different.
Okay.
And I did that for, like I said, 15 years. And my dad just say all the time, girl, you need to come on back to the business. You standing on your feet all that time. You need to come on back to the business. So eventually I did. Unfortunately, my sister passed away. So she was more or less Dad's backbone and was up there really taking care of the business for him. So I decided to go up there and help. Yeah, and my brother and all of the rest of my relatives were there. So I said, okay.
Another plan, another purpose.
Yeah.
How God works all things out. He does all things well. He does
and
all
there was
things
a prophet that told me that I was going to have restaurants and all of that. And during that time when he said that to me, I was doing hair. And I was looking at this man like,
You don't know what you're talking
go
about.
on somewhere. That is not what I'm going to do. And when I opened up the restaurant, he came in the door and I just cried.
No
Yes,
way.
I cried. I was like, oh my God. He said,
Wow. Wow.
so like you said, God orders our steps.
He does.
Yeah.
He does. What an amazing story.
Yes.
So Monday morning, I was doing my little devotions and I was in the sauna and I happened to flip through Instagram and I saw a post that read something like, when you realize that you've gotten on the wrong train or you've missed your stop on the train, get off as soon as you can, because the longer you stay on, the more expensive it's going to be to come back.
Right.
And at the end of it, it said, and he wasn't talking about the train. What experiences have you had where you realized you had gotten off on the wrong stop, and how long did it take you to go back?
I would say in relationships.
Okay.
Relationships. I've been in situations where God has told me no, and I did it anyway.
Been there.
And I
Oh, my
got out
goodness.
there and stayed on that train too long.
Too long.
Until, things happened that forced me to get off the train. And I'm glad I did, because my life, has completely gone in a totally different direction. And I really thank God for the obstacles and the pitfalls and stuff in my life, because they've made me who I am, and they've made me stronger. So.
And I think it's how you know that you've grown and made you stronger is it's now your testimony.
Right, exactly.
And your testimony is for other people, but what you go through is to build you and your character.
Yes.
And as entrepreneurs, I really try to hone in on the fact that you're going to go through some things.
Exactly.
But as long as you don't take yourself out of the game, you're going to win.
Right.
If God has truly ordered your steps and gave you this passion, gave you this talent, gave you this vision, he's going to see it through, but it's a matter of, are you going to go through it?
Right.
And how long does it take you to see, I missed my stop, I got to go back? Because lessons are expensive to learn.
Yes, they are.
Very expensive to learn.
Mm-hmm.
I tell entrepreneurs all the time, you need two things. Whether you think you can afford it or not, you need an attorney,
Right.
and you need an assistant.
Right.
You got to have it. Because you don't want to wait until your business grows and gets to the point where you need help and now your quality has gone down.
Right.
When you could have got an assistant and they could have helped you see that along the way.
Exactly.
If you've got an attorney and you got an LLC or you have an S Corp, you need to make sure that you are following the right guidelines for your business, because you don't want anything to happen to it. Those are expensive mistakes that we don't need to make.
Right.
I had a young lady ask me the other day, do I really need my CPA or an accountant to look at my books every quarter?
Yes.
You know, what if I'm not making any money that month? Shouldn't I just pay them when I need them? I was like, no, because it's like insurance.
Right.
You don't want to say, oh, I'm going to be good this month. It's not going to rain tomorrow, so let me go ahead and cancel my car insurance and I'll pick it back up next week. No, because the moment you do, somebody going to hit you from the side and keep going, especially here in Memphis. You need your insurance.
Exactly.
So I think the point is, whether you think it's too expensive or I can't afford it, those lessons, you got to catch them quick and address them immediately.
Exactly.
Yes. And to that end, let's talk about customer experience. A&R BBQ is a legacy historical restaurant.
Yes.
People are coming, it's crowded. You know, Memphis need workers like the river need water. How do you give the outstanding customer experience that you give with the industry and the way society is today?
I pray hard, number one. And I meet with my employees on a regular basis.
Oh, that's
I talk
awesome.
to them, and, you know, I let them know how important customer service is.
It's number one.
It will make you or break you. And I have to help them to realize that you may not think what you've said or how you've upset this customer is important, but if that one customer, you know, bad news travels faster than good news. A prime example, a customer had an incident last week, and she posted something negative about my location on social media. Well, one of my employees' mother saw it and let her know about it. Well, my employee inboxed the young lady and said, if there's anything that we can do to rectify the situation, she said, call me, we'll take care of it. The lady contacted us, her situation was taken care of, and she went back on social media letting everybody know that the people at A&R BBQ contacted me to make sure my situation was taken care of. So those things are very important.
Very important.
Yeah.
Because that could have gone wrong for a long time.
All the way wrong.
Yes. To have such a humble spirit. And it sounds like you are very hands-on with your employees and your customers. And that is for a small business owner, even a large corporation. You've got to do those things.
Yeah.
When I worked at FedEx, Fred Smith would have quarterly meetings with us. Like, it was nothing to see him walking down the hallway at the office. Because he wanted you to know that I value you. I put people first. I have no customers if I have no employees, and vice versa. So you've got to be able to get that right. There is no small problem or small customer. Every customer matters, and every employee matters. Everybody matters to make that revenue happen. So regardless of how big or how small your business is, you can't take customer experience lightly. Internally and externally. I really have to hone in on that part because you have to take care of your employees. Because if you're taking care of the customers, the employee's going to feel like, well, she cares more about them than me, and I'm the one servicing them. And that could leave a bitter taste.
Yeah. And I'm very blessed to have a fantastic team that have been with me for a long time. The majority of them have been there at least 10 years. So
that's
I've been
unheard of in
business for
restaurants.
23 years, and the majority of my team has been there 10 years plus. And, you know, they're like family. You know, they're a part of me. So I pride myself on making sure they're good, because it was just so important for me to be able to pay them a living wage. That was something that I was like, God, I want to make money so that I can take care of my team. That's like my family. I'm taking care of 18 families. So it's important to me to be good to them, because when you're good to your employees, they're good to you.
They're good to you.
So
they're good to you. What is your fondest customer memory over all these years? Who is that customer that stands out to you?
The one that stands out, Lord, what's that latest name? Oh. I'm not going to tell her name, because she fuss all the time when she comes in there. She fusses and complains. And we be like, why do you keep coming in here? Every time you come in here, you say your food not right, something didn't, something isn't right. Why do you keep coming? But I mean, she comes in there on a regular basis. And when she comes in, I mean, we just, we mess with her now, be like, why you come here? But
She's the entertainment.
We have a lot of customers that, come at least 2 or 3, 4 times a week.
A week?
Yeah,
wow.
A week. Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. So, and then we had, oh, Lord. We had one girl that would come in there, but she had mental health issues. She would come in dancing and cutting up with the customers and all of that stuff. But we have some characters that come through there sometimes.
And it sounds like your team is trained and professional, and they know how to deal with that.
You can't, I tell them you can't go off on them. We have to make sure. And a lot of times, those people just need help, and when they come in, I tell them, okay, get over there and sit down. We're going to fix you something to eat, but you can't be in here cutting up. So you just have to be nice to everybody.
So one last question for you. How do you balance and preserve tradition with innovation to keep your menu up? Do you just have the same traditional menu, or have you incorporated some innovative things to keep the competition going, to stay innovative with things? Like there may be something that customers have just requested that you didn't have that you do now, or how do you decide your menu?
Well, a lot of times we do have the basic traditional menu that we've always had, and sometimes like seasonally we'll have turkey ribs.
Oh, okay.
And that's a request that I can't remember who, my brother, somebody told him about turkey ribs. So we tried them and it went over well. And then sometimes people from different regions will tell us, why y'all don't try? As a matter of fact, the rib tips, which is our #1 seller, my dad's cousin from St. Louis, years ago when he first opened the restaurant, said, man, y'all need to sell rib tips. And my dad was like, what is a rib tip? And he told them, and voila.
Top seller. And it's not a Memphis thing. It wasn't something that.
Yeah. So.
Because I know like Burger King, for example, has got like the Impossible Whopper, I think, with people's changing their health and being vegetarian. I was just wondering, how do you adjust and change with those things?
And we will even, we have the Beyond Burgers, for vegans. We have Beyond Sausages, and sometimes we'll do things like that, you know, to kind of
to address some of those things.
Some of the things.
That is innovative, and it keeps it exciting and new things that you can try it on the menu.
And then the online ordering platforms, the DoorDash, the Uber Eats, the Grubhub.
That's been a big change.
Since COVID. Even before COVID, we were doing that, but since COVID, it's just really a major part of our business, the online ordering.
You allow the the Uber Eats and all those to come and get? Do you all do deliveries at any point, or how are you doing that?
Well, we do catering deliveries
Okay.
for large orders. We do those, but in-house. But as far as like the DoorDash and Uber Eats, yeah, those drivers come in and get the food and deliver it to the customer. So that's a major platform that we use now. So.
And I've noticed too, some restaurants after COVID, they started having like signs up. I know there's one restaurant I've gone to before. You get your takeout, you order it to go, but when you pull up, you'll call and say, I'm at spot number 1 or something, or I'm in, you tell them what car you're in. Do you all do any of that, or is you see a need for that as time goes with that?
Not right now. So, I mean, if we get to the point where we see that need, we'll address that too. So we're always evolving and just changing with the times, because if you don't, you will get left behind.
What advice would you give a small business owner that is interested in going into the restaurant industry? What advice would you give them today?
I would tell them to, number one, pray hard about it, because
you need Jesus.
Working for yourself is the hard, because when you work for yourself, it's with you all the time. You go to bed thinking about your business. You wake up thinking about your business. It's a part of you. So I would say follow your heart, follow your passion, whatever it is that you have a passion to do, and just step out there and try it, because you don't know if it'll succeed unless you try. So get out there and try it. You know, if that doesn't work, try something else. But I'm just a firm believer in follow your heart and just go out there and do what you have the passion to do.
That's right. Do what you have the passion to do. I think God has rooted and planted a seed in each of us.
Yes.
And it's up to us to make it grow. You know, I've never understood. I've talked to some hairstylists even, and they're like, oh, I hate doing hair. I don't want to come in today. Like, and they're so good at doing hair, but they don't want to do it. I run into some people in that area, and I have to kind of help them say, what is your passion? What is it that you really want to do? So that's very key for being an entrepreneur, because the times are going to get hard. There are going to be days where you're going to feel like this is a setup.
Yes.
But if you're passionate about it, it's going to drive and motivate you. Definitely.
And if you're passionate about it, you won't give up.
You won't give up. And you won't get tired of it. There will be days where you are tired, but you won't get tired of doing it.
Right.
You won't get tired of doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So tell us about your most memorable customer.
My most memorable customer was Kevin Hart.
No.
Yes, Kevin Hart came to the Elvis Presley location when they filmed Think Like a Man Part 2.
Wow. I didn't know that was in Memphis.
Well, it wasn't in Memphis, but he came here promoting it.
Oh, okay.
So he came to the restaurant and he bought sandwiches for the crowd. And there were people everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
And he was behind the counter.
No.
Had on his A&R shirt and his hat.
As
working
if he
behind the
counter.
And giving out sandwiches and signing autographs and just, communicating with the people.
Wow.
Yes.
I know that had
awesome.
to be exciting.
It was awesome. Girl, it was people everywhere. Just lines of people all down the street. So they got to come in, take a picture with them, selfies, and really had a good time. So that was a major event in the life of A&R BBQ.
Yes, that was major. Kevin Hart is awesome. He is so funny.
Yes.
And it sounds like he's like really naturally down to earth and fun.
Yes.
You talk about a true entrepreneur. He's got his hands in so many things.
Right.
So many things. And it's good to be diverse in your business. But this man came behind the counter serving the people.
He was working at A&R that day.
So you can say Kevin Hart was my employee.
Right.
Wow. Thanks for sharing that. That was awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been awesome. I hope you guys have learned a lot. If you're in Memphis, Tennessee, and you have not had A&R BBQ, 1, shame on you, but 2, you've got to try some of these great popular menu items. Thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been a great episode of Easy Talk, real talk for true entrepreneurs. Thank you for joining us. We hope to see you soon for our next episode. Subscribe if you have not done so yet.